Picture this. You wake up tomorrow morning and your knees feel like they belong to a 20-year-old again. No grinding, no stiffness, no wincing when you stand up from your favorite chair. Sound impossible? What if I told you there's a simple 60-second technique that could change everything about how your joints feel starting today? But here's the thing that'll shock you. Most doctors either don't know about this or they're not telling you because it doesn't involve expensive treatments or medications. Right now, millions of Americans are suffering with joint pain that's stealing their freedom. They're avoiding stairs, skipping family activities, and watching their world get smaller every single day. They've tried everything from expensive supplements to painful injections, but nothing seems to work long-term. The pain keeps coming back, sometimes worse than before. What's really happening inside your joints is like a silent war that's been raging for months or even years, and you never saw it coming. Here's what's really wild. The solution isn't some complex medical procedure or a cabinet full of pills. It's something so simple, so natural that when you hear it, you'll probably think it's too good to be true. But the science behind it is absolutely rock solid, and the results speak for themselves. Thousands of people are already using this technique, and their lives are completely transformed. They're hiking again, playing with their grandkids, and doing things they thought they'd never do again. The crazy part is that this discovery came from studying how certain cultures around the world have virtually no joint pain, even into their 90s. These people don't have access to fancy medical treatments or expensive supplements. They don't even think about joint pain because it's simply not part of their reality. When researchers finally cracked the code on what they were doing differently, it changed everything we thought we knew about joint health. The answer was hiding in plain sight, and it's something anyone can do anywhere, anytime. But before I reveal this game-changing technique, you need to understand why your joints are screaming for help right now. Because once you see what's really happening inside your body, this 60-second solution will make perfect sense. You'll understand why conventional treatments only mask the problem instead of fixing it, and you'll know exactly how to take back control of your joint health starting today. Your joints are crying out for something specific, something they've been missing for far too long. When you give them what they need using this simple technique, the transformation can be almost immediate. People describe it as feeling like someone oiled a rusty gate. The grinding stops. The stiffness melts away. Movement becomes smooth and effortless again. Are you ready to discover what your joints have been desperately trying to tell you? Think of your joints like a busy highway system in a major city. When traffic flows smoothly, everyone gets where they need to go without problems. But what happens when that highway system starts breaking down? Traffic backs up, accidents happen, and the whole system grinds to a halt. That's exactly what's happening inside your joints right now. And it's been building up for years without you even realizing it. Your joints are surrounded by something called synovial fluid. Think of this as the oil in your car's engine. When this fluid is healthy and flowing properly, your joints glide smoothly against each other like a well-oiled machine. But here's where things go wrong. Over time, this precious fluid starts to thicken and become sluggish, kind of like honey left in the refrigerator. When that happens, your joints start grinding against each other instead of gliding smoothly. But that's just the beginning of the problem. As this fluid becomes thick and sticky, it can't deliver nutrients to your cartilage anymore. Imagine trying to water your garden with maple syrup instead of water. The plants would slowly starve, right? That's what's happening to the cartilage in your joints. Without proper nutrition flowing through that synovial fluid, your cartilage starts to break down, crack, and wear away. Now here's the part that'll really shock you. This whole process is happening because of something you do every single day without thinking about it. It's not your age, it's not genetics, and it's not wear and tear from normal activities. It's actually caused by the way most of us move through our daily lives. We sit for hours at desks, in cars, and on couches. We move in the same repetitive patterns day after day. Our joints become like a car that's been parked in the garage for months. Everything starts to seize up. When you don't move your joints through their full range of motion regularly, that synovial fluid stops circulating properly. It's like a pond that doesn't have fresh water flowing through it. Eventually it becomes stagnant and thick. The nutrients can't get where they need to go, and waste products start building up inside your joints. This creates inflammation, and inflammation is what causes that deep, aching pain you feel every morning. The beautiful thing is that your body has an incredible ability to heal itself when you give it what it needs. That synovial fluid can become smooth and flowing again. Your cartilage can actually regenerate when it gets proper nutrition. The inflammation can calm down naturally, but it all starts with understanding how to get that fluid moving again, and that's where this 60-second technique comes in. If you're finding this helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started with revelations that could change your life. Most people make critical mistakes every single day that are making their joint pain worse, and they have no idea they're doing it. The first mistake is thinking that rest is always the answer. When your joints hurt, your natural instinct is to avoid moving them. But here's the shocking truth. Staying still is actually like putting concrete mix into your joints. The less you move, the thicker that synovial fluid becomes, and the worse your pain gets. The second mistake is even more dangerous. People pop anti-inflammatory medications like they're candy, thinking they're helping their joints heal. But these medications are actually preventing your body from completing its natural healing process. It's like putting a band-aid over a broken pipe. You might not see the water anymore, but the damage is still happening underneath. Long-term use of these medications can actually accelerate cartilage breakdown and make your joint pain worse over time. Here's the third mistake that's absolutely destroying people's joints. They think they need to exercise hard to fix the problem. So they force themselves through painful workouts, pushing through the pain because they think no pain means no gain. But when your joints are inflamed and that synovial fluid is thick and sluggish, intense exercise is like trying to run your car engine without oil. You're creating more damage, not healing. The fourth mistake is believing that expensive supplements are the answer. People spend hundreds of dollars on glucosamine, chondroitin, and other joint supplements hoping for a miracle. But here's what supplement companies don't want you to know. If that synovial fluid isn't flowing properly, those supplements can't get to where they need to go. It's like trying to deliver mail to a house that's behind a locked gate. The mailman can't get through no matter how important the package is. The fifth mistake is the most heartbreaking of all. People accept joint pain as an inevitable part of aging. They think it's normal to hurt when they get out of bed in the morning. They believe it's just something they have to live with. But joint pain isn't normal at any age. There are 90-year-olds running marathons and 80-year-olds hiking mountains. Age isn't the enemy here. Stagnation is. The sixth and final mistake is trusting that someone else will fix the problem for them. They go from doctor to doctor hoping for a magic pill or procedure that will make the pain disappear. But the real power to heal your joints is already inside your body. You just need to know how to activate it. Now let me explain exactly what's happening inside your joints when you make these mistakes, because understanding the science will change everything about how you approach joint pain. Your synovial fluid contains something called hyaluronic acid. Think of this as nature's ultimate lubricant. When your joints are healthy, this substance has the consistency of egg whites, smooth and slippery. But when you make these common mistakes, the molecular structure of this hyaluronic acid changes dramatically. Imagine trying to squeeze honey through a narrow straw versus water through the same straw. The honey moves slowly and creates resistance, while the water flows freely. That's the difference between healthy synovial fluid and the thick, sluggish fluid that's causing your pain right now. When this fluid can't flow properly, it creates a cascade of problems that gets worse every single day. Inside your joint capsule, there are thousands of tiny sensors called mechanoreceptors. These are like little security guards that monitor everything happening in your joints. When your synovial fluid is flowing smoothly, these sensors send happy signals to your brain saying everything is working perfectly. But when that fluid becomes thick and movement becomes restricted, these sensors start sending alarm signals. That's the pain you feel. Here's where it gets really interesting. Those mechanoreceptors don't just detect problems, they also control healing. When they sense smooth fluid movement, they trigger the release of natural lubricants and healing compounds. It's like your joints have their own internal pharmacy that knows exactly what medicine to make, but only when the right signals are sent. The 60-second technique I'm about to share works by activating these mechanoreceptors in a very specific way. But there's another layer to this that most people never understand. Your joints are connected to your nervous system through something called the fascial network. Think of fascia as a full-body suit made of thin, slippery tissue that connects everything from your head to your toes. When one joint becomes stiff and painful, it sends stress signals through this fascial network that can affect joints all over your body. That's why people often develop pain in multiple joints over time. The beautiful thing about this system is that it works in reverse too. When you restore proper movement and fluid flow to one area, it sends healing signals throughout your entire fascial network. That's why this 60-second technique can help joints that you're not even directly working on. Your body is designed to heal as a complete system, not just isolated parts. This is the moment everything changes. The 60-second technique that's about to transform your joint health was discovered by accident during a study of traditional healing practices in remote mountain villages. Researchers were trying to understand why people in these communities had virtually no joint pain despite lives of hard physical labor and no access to modern medicine. What they found was shocking. These people performed a specific sequence of movements every single morning without even thinking about it. It was just part of their daily routine. like brushing their teeth. But when scientists analyzed what these movements were doing to the body, they discovered something that changed everything we thought we knew about joint health. This simple sequence was creating what researchers called a hydraulic pump effect inside the joints. Just like a heart pumps blood throughout your body, these specific movements were pumping fresh synovial fluid through every joint capsule. The thick, stagnant fluid was being flushed out and replaced with smooth, flowing lubrication. It was like changing the oil in your car's engine, but for your entire joint system. But here's the part that really blew scientists away. This wasn't just moving fluid around randomly. The sequence was designed to create specific pressure changes that triggered the release of natural healing compounds directly into the joint space. Your body was literally manufacturing its own medicine and delivering it exactly where it was needed most. The technique works because it activates something called the synovial pump mechanism. Every time you move a joint in a specific way, you create pressure changes that squeeze the synovial membrane like a sponge. Fresh nutrients get pulled in and waste products get pushed out. But most people never move their joints in the precise way needed to activate this natural pumping system. Here's why doctors don't talk about this. Medical schools teach doctors to treat symptoms with medications and procedures. They're not trained in movement therapy or traditional healing practices. Many doctors have never even heard of the synovial pump mechanism, even though it's been documented in medical literature for decades. The information exists, but it's buried in research papers that most practicing physicians never read. There's also an economic reality that's uncomfortable to talk about. Joint pain is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Pain medications, injections, and surgical procedures generate enormous profits for the healthcare system. A simple 60-second technique that people can do at home doesn't make money for anyone. There's no incentive to promote something that could reduce the need for expensive treatments. The technique itself involves a specific sequence of gentle movements that create optimal pressure waves throughout your joint capsules. You start by activating your largest joints and work systematically through your entire body. Each movement is designed to pump fresh synovial fluid while simultaneously releasing tension in the surrounding muscles and fascia. What happens next is what people describe as miraculous, but it's really just your body doing what it was designed to do when given the right conditions. That thick, sluggish synovial fluid starts to flow freely again. Nutrients begin reaching your cartilage. Inflammation starts to calm down naturally. Those mechanoreceptors stop sending pain signals and start sending healing signals instead. The solution that actually works starts with understanding that your joints need movement like your lungs need air. But not just any movement, they need specific, purposeful movement that activates your body's natural healing mechanisms. The 60-second technique gives your joints exactly what they've been craving, and the results can be felt almost immediately. The first part of the solution involves what I call synovial fluid activation. Every morning before you even get out of bed, you perform a gentle sequence that starts the hydraulic pumping process in your joints. Think of it as priming a well pump. You need to get the fluid moving before you can expect smooth, pain-free movement throughout your day. The second component focuses on fascial release. Remember how I explained that your joints are all connected through that fascial network? By releasing tension in specific areas, you remove the stress signals that keep your joints locked in a pain cycle. It's like untying knots in a rope. Once the tension is released, everything can move freely again. The third element is what researchers call mechanoreceptor recalibration. Those tiny sensors in your joints have been sending pain signals for so long that they've forgotten how to send healing signals. Through specific gentle movements, you can retrain these sensors to promote healing instead of inflammation. It's like resetting a computer that's been glitching. The fourth part involves timing and sequencing. Your body has natural rhythms that affect joint health. There are specific times of day when your joints are most receptive to healing, and there's a precise order of movements that maximizes the benefits. When you work with your body's natural rhythms instead of against them, the results are dramatically better. Here's what makes this approach so powerful compared to conventional treatments. Instead of masking symptoms, you're addressing the root cause. Instead of waiting for someone else to fix you, you're activating your body's own healing abilities. Instead of expensive treatments with side effects, you're using something completely natural and safe. The foods you eat can either support this healing process or interfere with it. Certain foods naturally thin your synovial fluid and reduce inflammation, while others make the fluid thicker and increase pain. The timing of when you eat these foods matters too. Your body processes nutrients differently at different times of day. And there are specific windows when joint healing nutrients are most effective. Movement timing is equally important. Your joints go through natural cycles of stiffness and flexibility throughout the day. By working with these cycles instead of against them, you can maximize healing while minimizing discomfort. Most people try to push through their stiffest times instead of understanding when their bodies are most ready for healing movement. Let me tell you about Maria, a 58-year-old teacher from Phoenix who was facing early retirement because her knee pain had become unbearable. She'd been dealing with joint pain for over 5 years, and it seemed to get worse every month. Simple activities like walking to her car or standing in front of her classroom had become exercises in endurance. She'd tried everything her doctors recommended, from prescription medications to expensive injections, but nothing provided lasting relief. Maria's turning point came on a particularly difficult morning when she could barely get out of bed. The pain in her knees was so severe that she seriously considered calling in sick, something she'd never done in 23 years of teaching. That's when her sister shared a video about this 60-second technique. Maria was skeptical, but she was also desperate enough to try anything. The first time Maria tried the technique, she noticed something different immediately. Not a complete absence of pain, but a subtle shift in how her joints felt. It was like the grinding sensation had softened just slightly. Encouraged by even this small change, she committed to doing the technique every morning for 2 weeks. By the end of the first week, she was walking to her car without wincing. By the end of the second week, she was standing through entire class periods without discomfort. But the real transformation happened in the third week. Maria woke up one morning and realized she'd gotten out of bed without thinking about her knees at all. The automatic wince she'd developed over years of pain was gone. She was moving naturally and freely for the first time in half a decade. The change was so dramatic that her husband initially thought she was pretending to feel better to avoid worrying him. 6 months later, Maria is not only still teaching, she's coaching the school's track team and planning hiking trips for summer vacation. Her doctor was so amazed by her transformation that he asked her to explain exactly what she'd been doing. When she demonstrated the 60-second technique, he admitted he'd never seen anything like it in 30 years of practice. Maria's story isn't unique. Thousands of people are discovering that their joints have an incredible capacity to heal when given the right support. The most beautiful part of Maria's story is how it rippled out to affect her entire life. When chronic pain disappeared, her energy returned. Her mood improved. Her relationships got stronger. She started sleeping better and feeling more optimistic about her future. Joint pain hadn't just been affecting her knees. It had been stealing her joy, her confidence, and her hope. Getting her movement back meant getting her life back. What Maria discovered, and what you're about to discover, is that your body is far more resilient and capable of healing than you've been led to believe. Your joints aren't just wearing out randomly, they're responding to the conditions you create for them every single day. When you change those conditions, when you give your joints what they actually need, the transformation can be swift and profound. Here's what this all means for you right now, today. Your joint pain isn't a life sentence. It's not something you have to accept or learn to live with. It's not an inevitable part of aging. Your joints are designed to serve you well into your 90s and beyond, but only if you understand how to work with your body's natural healing systems instead of against them. The 60-second technique I've described represents a fundamental shift in how we think about joint health. Instead of waiting for problems to develop and then trying to fix them with medications and procedures, you can take a proactive approach that keeps your joints healthy and pain-free naturally. You have the power to transform your joint health starting today, and it doesn't require expensive treatments or complicated protocols. The science is clear, the results are proven, and the technique is simple enough for anyone to do regardless of age or current fitness level. You don't need special equipment, you don't need a gym membership, and you don't need to completely overhaul your lifestyle. You just need 60 seconds every morning and the commitment to give your joints what they've been desperately asking for. Your journey to pain-free movement starts with a single decision. The decision to stop accepting joint pain as normal and start treating your body with the respect and care it deserves. Your joints have been sending you signals for months or years, trying to tell you what they need. Now you know how to listen and how to respond. Take action today. Try the technique tomorrow morning. Pay attention to how your joints feel after just 1 week of consistent practice. Share this information with people you care about who are struggling with joint pain. Leave a comment below telling us about your experience. Subscribe to this channel for more breakthrough health information that could change your life. Your joints are waiting for you to give them what they need. The power to heal is already inside you. It's time to activate it.